Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a deleted user. Quick warning before we do get into this, it contains sexual harassment and victim blaming, so if you do want to skip the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description along the timeline below. Thank you. It's titled, My Male 25 Girlfriend Female 23 got upset that an ex sent me inappropriate pics. What does this mean for our relationship? My girlfriend and I have been dating for 3 years. I've been thinking about proposing soon. Things are good until this week. Okay, Monday, my ex, Lindsay, randomly sent me a message saying she missed me. I replied and said it was nice to hear from her, but that I won't be talking with her. Since then, she started sending some inappropriate pics of herself. I messaged that I'd be blocking her and not to contact me again. This all happened Monday night and my girlfriend was already asleep. I worked early and didn't get a chance to tell her what happened. Around lunchtime on Tuesday, my girlfriend calls me screaming that I'm cheating on her with Lindsay. Apparently Lindsay contacted her and told her that we've been cheating online with each other. She had screenshots of her sending pics through DM on Insta, which I never use but have an old account. Obviously there were no replies from me, but Lindsay claims it was meant to be that way, so I could deny. She called my girlfriend crying and saying she was sorry, which is all an act. When I got home, I showed my girlfriend everything. Showed her the text, went through all my social medias, and it wasn't enough. She still believes that there may be something going on. She left to stay with a friend and told me she needs time to think. I freaked out and said if she doesn't believe me to not come back. What can I do here? I feel like I'm going crazy. Mini update in the same post which said, last night I sent a message to my girlfriend and let her know I was sorry for how I reacted and that I loved her. Still haven't heard anything. Feeling pretty lonely and down this morning, but have some hope. Send sunrise pics and I'd love to have people to chat with. Commenter says to OP, consider this. If the roles were reversed, would you be comfortable with her ex sending her pictures and her responding and not blocking him right away or waking you up and telling you? Then the ex sends you pictures of their conversation. Your reaction, specifically telling her not to come back if she doesn't believe you, only reinforces her concerns and ultimately jeopardizes your relationship. Trust has been broken and moving forward will be challenging if she can't trust you. Edit to add additional details to my comment for my response to be clear. To which OP responded saying for the first part, I did block after she sent the pics. But yeah, after reading comments here, I'm really worried I messed things up with my response. Upstairs Decision says this is stupid. Commenters are being stupid too. Hey, glad you're doing well. I'm in a relationship and won't be talking back. Was appropriate. End of story. Nothing to see here. Your girl has questions, hand her your phone and give her the passcode. If that isn't good enough for her, then something else is going on. Did you cheat in the past because either your girlfriend is too jealous to be in a relationship or you're leaving something out of the scenario? If neither of those are true, then your response was appropriate. Unfortunately, your relationship is cooked. Only the blame is on your girlfriend and your ex. Your failure to totally block your ex is the only thing you did wrong. OP says, I've never cheated, but her sister was recently cheated on. That's probably on her mind as she's processing this. Mighty says, sorry OP, but this is why when you have a breakup, you hard block your ex on everything. You told your current girlfriend of 3 years not to come back if she doesn't believe you. Your relationship is cooked. You didn't cheat, but saying that was the nail in the coffin. It's over because you handled it wrong. OP says, yeah, I was just so frustrated at having to convince her nothing was going on. Clear Pilot says, I'm not buying this. And even if what you're saying is true, you still need to take accountability. You should have told her when it happened. It doesn't matter if she's asleep. Wake her up for 20 minutes to talk and show her what's going on. And there's definitely no excuse for you not telling her in the morning. How'd you just forget that? She's obviously not going to be very trusting to you. But if you really are innocent, take accountability for what you did and express what you should have done. Then it's a matter of seeing what she does. Also, who tells an ex? It's good to hear from them. OP says, I left for work before she woke up, but yes, now I wish I had woken her up. I said it was nice to hear from her, but that we can't talk. I was trying to be nice, but it didn't work out well for me. If I'm being completely honest, I found the comments on this one absolutely wild. Wake her up in the middle of the night after receiving the... That's mad. You know, all I can picture is like the Limmy waking up meme where he's like, his eyes are squinting and he's like, what the fuck's going on? Listening to that. And I don't like the way that's being turned around on OP, because let's point this out exactly what it was. Lindsay sending unsolicited, explicit images of herself and then using them to destroy his relationship. It was sexual harassment by her towards him, and he shut it down and blocked her. The only air quotes mistake that OP made is not having a crystal ball to predict what his psycho ex would do next. But OP did come in with a small update which says, fuck my life. After waiting all night for a response from my girlfriend, she texted and asked if she could call. I was at work and took a break and gave her a call. I started to apologize for what I said and she stopped me. She then confessed that last year she had gotten back on Tinder and had a couple of online flings. Ah, good old projection, eh? They would exchange pics and even had some video calls. She said she stopped after about 3 months of doing that and hasn't done anything since. When my ex called her, she assumed that I was doing the same thing and freaked out. I'm at a loss for what to do. She said that she wants a 3-month break at least so that we can clear our heads. What the fuck does she have to clear? She's coming to get her stuff while I'm at work today. I told my boss I'm not feeling well and I'm taking the rest of the day off. Right now I'm in my car parked at a park contemplating my life's decisions. I'm good, by the way, for those who sent Reddit cares after me. Not doing anything terrible. That's the update and probably all I'll post on here. I highly doubt we survive this break. I feel like an idiot going back to her after this point. Already downloaded Tinder, but probably shouldn't go that path. I'm just a mess. So she was projecting all along. I mean, not really a surprise in the end. And, you know, her calling for a 3-month break after that, she's taking the piss. Be done with that, mate. You're far better off without her in your life. And probably just give yourself a little break at the same time. Give yourself time to breathe and simply realize that you deserve much better. Holy moly. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have another story. Now, our next story comes from the True Off My Chest subreddit from Casimix, who says, I don't think my boss knows that I know there's a camera in my office. I don't know where to start because I'm not even sure if this is weird or not. I started at this new job not long ago, and since the first day I've known there was a camera in my office. I don't think it's necessarily weird to have cameras in an office setting. There's cameras in all sorts of places for all kinds of reasons. But the camera in my office isn't any sort of built-in fixture, and my individual office room is the only office with a camera in it. On my first day of the job, I realized my boss was too aware of my actions. He said something to me that threw me off, and I knew he wouldn't have brought it up unless he had been watching me do something. It was just too coincidental, but it was casual at the same time, so it wasn't a direct allusion to the camera he has. But immediately after that incident, I scanned around the room and found a camera nestled into a cubby with a small wire that leads into his adjacent office. My other boss has also indirectly responded to my actions in the group chat. The few times I have spent an excessive amount of time on my phone were times at the, hey guys, let me know if you need anything to work on. I know things are slow. Messages would trickle in. Anything that seemed to hint at me being watched was also said or done ambiguously enough that they weren't revealing anything about me being able to see me, as if I'm not supposed to know I'm being watched. And that's what's unsettling to me. The camera is pointed directly at me, not the door, not the front of my desk, not anywhere else that would make sense for security. I've looked at everyone else's offices and didn't see a single camera. The camera is pointed specifically at me, and I don't even deal with money or anything that could be stolen. I don't know if I should bring this up. I'm not entirely mad, and I guess I understand the reasoning, like making sure I'm on task or some shit. It just bothers me a little that I can be watched whenever, and they never even disclose that. I feel like someone being constantly monitored has the right to know that they are, especially since I'm the only one being watched like this. I at least use it to my advantage because I at least know not to be on my phone. Commenter says, anytime you are finished with a task and waiting for another one, spend excessive amounts of time staring into the camera. Someone replies saying, yes, and don't blink at all, just stare vacantly directly into the camera. Another commenter says, is this your office? Place a nice plant or object in the way of the camera to decorate. If the decoration is moved, ask why. Another one says, secretly filming people is illegal in a lot of countries. Another one says talk to a lawyer. Only they can really represent your interests, not HR or your shady boss. Psychedelic Savannah says, not to be weird OP, but I did look at your post history because I needed more context on your age and gender, as I think it does matter in this situation. Seeing that you're a 22 female confirmed my suspicions that your boss may be a creep. You mentioned that at least one of your bosses is male, which makes me wonder what his intentions are. I'm also not sure how deep of a search you did in your office, but I would implore you to look under your desk, chair, anywhere in the surrounding area where you typically sit. Nowadays, cameras are easily available online that can be as small as a button or be disguised as something benign like a smoke detector. It is possible you are the only one being spied on. It is also possible that your employer has hidden cameras elsewhere in your workplace, such as bathrooms or break rooms. You also did not mention what state you were from, but I'm pretty sure any lawyer in any state could make a case for a young woman that was being filmed without her consent by her male employers. No matter which way you spin it, it looks very bad on their end, and I can't really think of any non-nefarious reason why they would need to record you. I know you're not asking for advice, but I'd confront them directly or gather evidence to turn into the police and quit. No job is worth your privacy. OKFX says, why are they so passive aggressive? How much time do they waste jerking off to whatever you're doing? This type of stuff is usually someone just stroking their ego, flexing their power. Weirdos. OP updates within that first post and says, I wasn't expecting so many responses. I genuinely appreciate how concerned everyone is about whether or not I'm okay. It makes me feel good knowing a lot of people care about a stranger's well-being. I've sent a lot of comments asking for an update, so this is really the most I have of one. Nothing has changed yet. I haven't brought it up to them because part of me is wondering if they'll eventually remove it. I was curious to see if they would ever bring it up themselves, or if I could find a way to hint at the fact that I know. I sort of want them to stay unaware that I know, so I can see how they act in response to my actions, to potentially call it out in the future. The top comment is pretty funny about staring into the camera. There are a few times where something ridiculous would happen with something and I'd stare into the camera for a moment as if I was breaking the fourth wall. I don't think I'm going to bring it up just yet. I actually really like working here. I get along with my co-workers and they pay me decently for what I do. For everyone asking, yes, I'm a woman. I don't think this is as much of a sexual harassment case as it is just micromanaging thing. They haven't done or said anything to me to make me feel like they were hitting on me, just genuine politeness. My guess for the camera is that they may be testing my integrity and seeing how much time I spend on my phone, even out of the view of other people, which I could understand, but wow, I wish there was another way besides a camera on me. There's been a few other micromanaging things to happen that have irked me a little. But I still like my bosses in spite of that. If something changes, like if I start getting the vibe that this is becoming creepy, I'll keep you guys updated. Oh, and also a few things I wanted to mention that a lot of people had ideas about. You guys had good ideas, by the way. Due to where it's at, it'd be really hard to cover the camera with anything. I can't exactly reach it, so I'd have to find something like maybe a wide shelf that would block view from underneath it. The wire runs into my boss's office. Can't see the wire from mine, so I'd have to take a pic from the inside of his office. So I don't know if I'm able to evidence collect too easily. I'm also trying to be a bit vague with details because I got a little paranoid about the idea of my boss somehow coming across this thread. Anyways, I appreciate you guys and I'm sorry I didn't have a more threading update. I'll let you know if anything changes. So it was 25 days later that OP did come in with an update and said, there's no HR. But the camera was removed thanks to IT. So as previously stated, I still never said anything about the camera. I wasn't really comfortable with it, but I got used to being conscious of my actions, so they weren't seeing anything I didn't want them to. There also isn't some sort of HR to talk to about this or anything like that. Our IT guy came in, and he asked my boss about it. I wasn't in the room, so I didn't hear the entire conversation. But the first thing I heard was my boss saying that the camera was there before my office ever was. Something about using it to see the front door originally, I guess. That was a weird excuse to me though, because I've been there for at least 2 months at this point, and there's no way they could have accidentally watched me as much as it felt like they had been. Hearing the conversation out loud also confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was a camera, and that I wasn't paranoid. The IT guy must have felt some type of way about it, because I didn't hear what he said, but I heard my boss say something about, well, it's not like I was watching her in her office. In a sort of quieter, sheepishly defensive way. Nobody said anything to me while they were removing it. They took it from his side, not mine, but they instead put it where it would be facing the front door. This happened just over a week ago. I haven't posted an update until now because I was waiting to see if the camera would be put back. I really wanted to see if they were going to put it back a few days after IT left, because that would have been wild. But it's been over a week now. The camera is still away from me. It'll take some time before I stop feeling like I'm being watched all the time though. I'm really curious what the guy said to my boss. Whether he said something about it not being allowed or if he called it flat out creepy. But I'm glad he did say something, as it got resolved without me ever having to say anything. I'd like to think he low-key had my back. I've still been acting as if I've never known and haven't said anything about it, and work carries on. Also, it's so wild that this story got put in the Smosh video. Holy shit. I heard the news back to back. First the Hey Smosh just brought their channel back at the same time as saw your post in a new Smosh video. I made this post mostly to vent because I couldn't tell if I had the right to feel weird about this situation, because everyone in my personal circle says it isn't that weird. So it's so nice that so many strangers are validating how I feel. Hear people talk about my experience on public platform was a little surreal, I won't lie. It's got much more traction than I was ever expecting, but it makes me feel better, so thank you. Genuinely, my experience feels validated and it feels heard. I feel better because of it. I'm still going to stay at this job because I still like everyone here and I enjoy my field, but now I'll be doing it under a little less surveillance. Lol. If the camera comes back, I'll let you know. Modster says, I just found this post and a similar thing happened to me. My boss was definitely sexually harassing me though. Watching only me on a camera in my office, having people watch it and report back to him if he was out of the office, and the guy would come up behind me at my desk just to smell my hair. When I knew I had a new job secured, I took a picture of the area the camera was in on one of my last days, and my office mate, who would watch me when he couldn't, was an absolute nervous wreck that day. I still think about writing a letter to HR about that creep. I'm sure he's going to do it to other women given the chance. Too bad he's friends with HR. Obi says, Jesus Christ, that's awful, dude. I'm sorry you got harassed. I'm really lucky my situation wasn't as bad. I'm glad you don't work there anymore. I hope karma catches up to that sleazy dude. Commodore says, OP, I'm glad that the IT guy called it out and moved it. That said, I'm very concerned that people in your personal circle thought this wasn't that weird. It's weird and super creepy. If there were cameras monitoring the entire office, that's one thing, but this one was specifically towards you. I want to reassure you that this is not normal at all. You had every right to feel creeped out. Lee says the real question is, if the camera was used to see the front door, how is it connected to his PC? Wouldn't you want something like that connected to a separate PC to record and back up the footage for security purposes? Also, are there security cameras inside or outside of this business? If so, then that's super suspicious. Opie says the idea that having the camera facing the door is that they know whether people are walking in are clients or just the mailman or another co-worker. Is to avoid having to get up out of the office to check who's in the front, because there's no front desk technically. The weird thing to me though is that his office is actually the only office that you can see the front door from, so it doesn't make any sense for him to have one facing it. Is it me in this, or did OP just seem way too chilled out about the whole thing? You know, I hope OP reassures herself that this is absolutely not normal workplace behavior. The fact that this guy was getting all defensive and sheepish when IT called him out on it, you know, he knew it was wrong the whole time. And I get that OP likes their job, but this guy secretly monitored OP for months and certainly came across to me as creepy ass behavior. Part of me is like, go and talk to the IT guy, see what his real thoughts on what was going on there. Has he seen anything more? But again, I just feel like OP's way too chilled out about this. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Brilliant Profile 163. And it says, am I the asshole here for telling my sister-in-law that breastfeeding is not about her journey, but about her starving baby? Their first post started off, is it really worth the fight? This isn't about me, but about my sister-in-law. I'm neurodivergent, so I'm sorry if I speak about a sensitive subject impolitely. I try my best not to offend anyone. I also don't have children, and I'm 19, so I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But please, if anyone can help us. English is not my native language, I'm sorry. My sister-in-law, Julia, gave birth 2 months plus 3 days ago to a little 2.85 kilogram baby girl, Amanda. We live in Europe, in a country that's pushing for breastfeeding no matter what. So Julia was very keen on breastfeeding. The baby lost a lot of weight in the first week. I don't remember how much exactly, and has been seen by multiple doctors since then. In her first month of life, the baby gained weight up to 3.2 kilograms. My mum has asked Julia multiple times to give the baby formula because the baby was constantly crying and had hunger cues. My mum breastfed all of us, 5 children, and she'd been very supportive of breastfeeding. She was just very worried about little Amanda, but Julia kept refusing, saying that only her milk counts and she won't be poisoning her daughter with formula. On her monthly checkup, the doctor said that Amanda is starving and she needs to eat, and so my sister-in-law started going to multiple lactation consultants. They told her to pump around the clock, to top up the feedings with pump milk, etc. But she refused to give Amanda a bottle because she said that if she introduced the bottle, then Amanda would never latch again. So she started feeding her like 20 milliliters of milk after each feed with a kind of feeding tube she put in Amanda's mouth. I don't know what to call it. Amanda didn't gain any weight for another 1.5 weeks, even though she was nursing every 3 hours around the clock. Each feed 50 minutes plus top-ups. Julia asked her mum's friends for milk donations, and she started using that milk in the same manner for top-ups because she was able to pump only 50 milliliters per day. That's when Amanda gained a tiny bit of weight, 3.45 kilograms. Finally, 1.5 weeks ago, another lactation consultant told her she needs to top up each feed with 80 to 90 mils of pumped milk, and she started doing it. And Amanda finally calmed down and started gaining weight. She's now 3.79 kilograms as of today. They also had her checked for tongue tie, and she didn't really have one, but just a tiny bit of slightly thickened frenulum. It had solved the same day, 1 week ago. Today, my sister-in-law visited a lactation consultant, and she told Julia that now she can give Amanda less milk as a top-up since the baby is gaining weight, and they want to check if the smaller amount of milk for 1 week will still make Amanda gain some weight. My mum is terrified of this idea because she doesn't want to see Amanda starving again, especially now that she's finally started looking pink instead of grey. My brother doesn't really care because he follows whatever Julia is saying. The lactation consultant also did a weight feed, but only 20 minutes because they had other patients. And in those 20 minutes, Amanda transferred 25 milliliters of milk from the breast. We don't know what to do. We know that breastfeeding is important for babies and mothers. We admire all the women who do this. But this has become total craziness. Julia is constantly talking about nursing and pumping, nursing and pumping. There's nothing that matters to her any more than breastfeeding. We told her multiple times that she's a wonderful mum and she should just relax with this and de-stress. And sometimes other options might be better for both the mum and the baby. But she won't listen. She's power pumping once a day, taking supplements, pumping regularly 8 times per day. And she's only leaving the house for a visit to a doctor's or lactation consultant. Amanda doesn't even go outside for a walk in the stroller. The only time Julia is taking her out is when they're driving to an appointment. She's managing now to pump around 100 milliliters per day, and the lactation consultants are telling her that soon she'll be able to fully breastfeed Amanda, except that the feeds will take around 50 minutes and without top-ups. Amanda would be admitted to the hospital. We want Julia to be happy, but she says she's happy when Amanda is nursing, and the most important thing for her is to experience her breastfeeding journey. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to talk to her. This is why I'm here, asking all the nursing mums, is it really worth the fight? Opie adds information on Julia's thoughts on bottle feeding and breastfeeding. Opie says she said she will never introduce bottles and that breastfeeding counts only if the baby is nursing at the breast. If not for the donor's milk, Amanda would already be in the hospital. She is 9 weeks old and looks like a newborn. Commoner says it's worth talking to your brother about this, but not much else you can do. It's not your baby. Opie says my brother said that he doesn't recognize Julia anymore, but he will take steps only when the baby ends up in the hospital. What? Commoner says there's nothing wrong with bottle feeding. It's recommended to do both so your baby has that skill developed. My son is 8 weeks and I didn't give him a bottle for 4 weeks and now he's refusing bottles. But trust me, I understand your concern. You and your family need to be there for her and show your concern. She could also seek therapy because PPD definitely could be a cause here. But the tool I used for combo feeding is called a bridge tool. I would definitely recommend that to her. Opie says somebody in another sub told me to leave Julia alone because she's doing her best. So I'm not going to talk to Julia anymore, and neither will my mum. I feel bad that I was worried because it seems like there is no problem here. I hope I didn't offend anyone with this post, although it seems I did, and I'm sorry. Commodore says, I swear your sister-in-law is tired to her bones and wants to give up, but still preserving on for Amanda. To show your support, please make her lactation cookies and offer to bring food for her. Well-nourished mum will have output, or help with household chores to let her get more rest. Opie responds saying we cannot visit or bring her any food because she said we will try to poison her. We used to be friends, so it makes me very sad. Nobody from the family saw Amanda in real life, even though my brother begged her to show her to us. And someone says, is Julia's mother helping with the baby? Opie says her mum cut her off after some drama right before the wedding. Like, we don't know what's happened, but nobody from her family ever contacted her anymore. We tried to be her family, and everything was fine before Amanda was born. So Opie adds another post about 2 weeks later in a different subreddit and says, so I've published the first part of this story before on breastfeeding and mummet subreddits, and I've been made to feel like a monster because mother knows best. For the record, we're in Europe. I'm sorry for my English, and I'm also extremely emotional. My sister-in-law Julia gave birth to little Amanda 11 weeks ago. From the beginning, Amanda was barely growing, mostly losing weight instead of gaining. My country is heavily pro-breastfeeding, and Julia decided that she wanted to breastfeed. However, Amanda wasn't gaining weight properly and landed in 0.1 percentile for weight. Julia forbade me and my mum from coming to visit them. She said we will poison her if we bring her food. It was surprising, especially that before she gave birth, we were good friends. So we only saw little Amanda on pictures and videos my brother has been sending to us. And only once my mum said she's worried because Amanda looked like she's hungry. She was crying and writhing, pushing her fists into her mouth, while Julia narrated on the video that this is how a happy baby looks like with a full belly. So my mum asked if Julia cannot give her a bottle because Amanda still seems hungry. Julia went berserk and cut us off completely. She was pumping, but her supply didn't go up at all. Amanda had a tongue tie resolved, but it didn't help much. Julia was using donor's milk to top up Amanda's feeds through a sonde or a sonde? I don't know what this thing is called. Every week they're visiting a doctor's office for a controlled checkup of the weight. This is where it gets really messy. They were there yesterday, and yesterday my brother called us crying that Amanda is in the hospital. The story went like this. As always, Julia asked my brother to bring her coffee before the weighing appointment while she's using the nursing room to change Amanda's nappy. As always, he did, except this time, the nurse went in the middle of it to ask Julia about some paperwork, and the nurse saw that Julia was feeding Amanda from a bottle right before the checkup. The bottle was 150 of milk and it was already half down. The nurse said that Julia was supposed to wait with the feeding until after the checkup, and then my brother came in. He got very mad. He said that Julia refused giving Amanda a bottle, so what the fuck was going on? Then he took the bottle and at the same time Amanda vomited with a very, very thick milk. Nurse went crazy and checked the bottle and it was filled with milk mixed with rice cereal. The doctor who's been called to see it immediately ordered moving Amanda to the hospital for an emergency checkup, especially after seeing Julia, who went berserk and started throwing stuff around and yelling at everyone that she will be feeding her baby however and whenever she wants. We went to the hospital to see my brother. Amanda already had her blood test done and they showed some problems with kidneys, liver and vitamin level and iron. The doctors said she had been starving for a long time and why nobody from our family reacted. We told them the story about Julia claiming that we will poison her. So the doctors immediately took Julia for a psych evaluation for PPD, but turns out she was faking it. She admitted to the doctor. She was super scared that somebody might take the baby from her, that a friend told her that if she fakes PPD, we will leave her alone and she will have peace of mind during her breastfeeding. The doctors then told her that what she did was not okay, and that she was regularly stuffing the baby with milk and cereal before the weight checkup so as to pretend that Amanda grew, and that she should just give Amanda bottles with formula because This is about the little girl's life and survival, as she's now failure to thrive and her life and health are in danger. Julia got very mad. She yelled that she will either breastfeed Amanda or she won't feed her at all, and that the choice is only hers because this is her baby and nobody else's. Now this is when the doctors told Julia that either she will go for another psych evaluation or they will call the police. Julia agreed for the evaluation, and they locked her for a week. My brother is working 14 hours per day because they are poor, and after their wedding, Julia decided she wants to be a traditional wife and he has to earn their living. So my brother said that whatever Julia is doing, it must be right. But after seeing what was happening, he got super mad. He said that she starved Amanda on purpose for her own sick satisfaction, even though he was working hard on providing money so they would be able to buy formula if needed. He said he wanted a divorce and full custody over Amanda. We don't know if he will get it because it's rare for dad to take care of their daughters. Also, the doctors are mad at him that he didn't notice what Julia was doing. Before Julia went to the ward, I got angry and told her that she made monsters out of us and that we were just worried about her and Amanda. But this whole situation was always about Julia and her breastfeeding journey and not about Amanda's life. She called me a bitch and said I should have died in childhood because nobody can love an autistic person like me. Am I the arsehole? Gee bloody whiz. I'm a bit lost for words on that one, but all I can say is I'm just so glad the medical professionals spotted this when they did and have stepped in, because if that hadn't have happened, who knows what else could have happened going forward. The milk mixed with rice cereal before weigh-ins to fake the baby's weight gain is it's terrifying. However, OP did update the post and says I got so many comments under my original post and so many private messages that I'm unable to reply to each and every one, so I figured I'd post a short update. First of all, our little Amanda is doing good and stays in the hospital. She's being fed with formula and bottles. My brother had to agree to this, and since yesterday gained 30 grams. She had more tests done and we're waiting for the results. The doctors are also worried about the fact that Julia force-fed Amanda with cereal mixed with donor milk before the appointments because apparently it can cause some problems with the digestive system in the future, especially that they don't know for how long she's been doing it, and she doesn't want to admit it. Second, thank you for all your support. Also, thank you for the comments stating that we let Amanda down and put her in danger. Me and my mum realize it and we feel terrible about it. Some people were questioning what happened because my previous post in other groups stated that Julia is feeding Amanda and that she's doing everything she can to provide milk for her. And yes, that is true. That is what we knew at the time. We didn't know Julia decided that it's either breast milk or nothing at all. She only said this in front of the doctors. Her brother took vacation at work and most of his time he stays with Amanda, but he will be moving in with us. All this time he's been working and later doing overtime under the hand, and he feels exhausted, but says he has no other choice. He promised he will do everything he can to be a good father. We don't have any information about Julia, but no matter what, we worry about her. She's our family as well. She doesn't have her own family. She said before the wedding that she and the rest of her family had a fight and they cut her off, so she is alone in this world, and we felt very sorry for her. We managed to get in touch with one of Julia's friends, Linda, who was donating milk to her. Linda was terrified with the story and admitted she was the one who told Julia to pretend that she's afraid of us poisoning her. All of it because Linda's mother-in-law was demanding to visit them after the birth, so she used this excuse for people to leave her alone. Wild. Absolutely wild. And apparently Julia said to Linda before giving birth that Amanda is only hers, and only she had the right to hold her, and Michael, my brother, if really needed. And I don't understand this because my mum never asked to hold Amanda. In the hospital 2 days ago, it was the first time we saw Amanda in real life. Linda also told us that she introduced Julia to the Milk League, and then has question marks after it, and there she found all the bad things about formula and bottle feeding. Also, it turns out she never wanted to vaccinate Amanda, but my brother forced her to. Linda said she recommended Julia a couple of lactation consultants who apparently weren't real educated LCs, but some women with Instagram accounts claiming to know a lot about breastfeeding. This is all for now. This is all the information I gathered. The most important to me is that Amanda is safe with the doctors and nurses. We'll update whenever I know something more if you want. Commenter says to OP, I'd want to contact Julia's family to find why there is no contact. Maybe this isn't her first mental breakdown. Definitely need the background and family medical history for Amanda's sake. Opie says, my brother said that this is what the doctors asked him to do. They said that certain mental illnesses can be in the family and they would like to know what's going on. My brother will try to contact them, but we have never seen them, so it's a bit complicated. Another commenter says, hopefully he tries a bit harder than he did at being a proper parent. Anyone with half a brain cell can tell the difference between a fed baby and a starving one. Even if he was working 16 hours a day, all it takes is 30 seconds to look at his child. I've been told by 2 different family lawyers that, at least in the US, a large reason that fathers have the alleged difficulty in getting sole custody is simply because they don't try. They assume they won't get it, so they don't fight for it. In his case, his wife tried to starve her baby because she's crazy, so he better step up. I suspect that his hours will actually go down if he isn't having to pay for his wife's needs on top of his child. Opie replies saying the doctors told him that he screwed up and that he is a parent too. We're afraid they'll take Amanda away because of it. My mom already scheduled a meeting with a lawyer. Another commenter says, hope you're in a place that will give your brother full custody. I don't think Julia is mentally capable of caring for a child. OP says the thing is that Michael messed up as well, and he knows. We just hope they won't take Amanda away because of this. Another commenter says, I love how everyone is acting like the brother is a victim. He should be charged for neglect too. The fact that he isn't makes me suspect this is fake. Imagine what a shit father you have to be for this to go on so long and you don't even notice. Both your brother and his wife should be charged with neglect. Opie says right now nobody is charged yet, but he knows he is guilty as well, as he knows Amanda might be taken away. My mum scheduled a meeting with a lawyer. This is the only thing we can do for now. I'll update when I know more. Commenter says, how long did your brother know Julia before marrying her? I'm sure there is more to the family cut-off story. This is not someone who is mentally well, and I doubt this is the first time this has caused a crisis. Opie says almost 1 year. She told him she's from a religious family, and she won't be waiting long for the wedding. He never met her family because she said they should meet only during the wedding, but they cut her off like 2 months before that. Honestly, I was curious about what that original breakup with her family was, what was the story behind that as well. I was also thinking along the lines of that 4th comment as well about the brother being a victim in this, because there was a comment earlier on in the story where apparently he said something along the lines of that he's going to wait for the child to be in the hospital first. I mean, waiting to the point it's an actual medical emergency before you act and help your child is just fucking mind-blowing to me. But my mind just keeps coming back to that poor little child, Amanda, 11 weeks old, and she's already been through this. But I'm fine. I'm so glad that she's finally getting proper nutrition and gaining weight in the hospital. Gee whiz, what a story. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.